What I think should happen, with this shift where OpenAI now has their classifier, what will the future of search look like? How will Google rank content? How will content be looked at? So, what's important is that your content continues to fall under that human category, even if you're using an AI tool, right? Like we put content at scale through this and it came out unlikely AI generated. We put Jasper through it and it came out unlikely. We put ChatGPT and it came out likely, right? So this is the new step, I think, that should replace, or rather go hand in hand with, your plagiarism check. So if you're using Copyscape to check content, this is like the next step that you want to do. You now want to do an AI detection scan because you want to know, is this writer actually using ChatGPT or Jasper content at scale? Are they using these tools to write content? And if they are, it's okay, but only if they've done that process of making the content better. And making the content better, I went over this in the last training as well, but deserves another mention. I have this framework developed that kind of guides a writer who wants to switch from the human only writing to, okay, let's take AI, let's make it better. How do you make it better? You have to follow a set of steps. And these are the steps to follow. So, it's so easy to remember this acronym because if you think about crafting good content, like you'll remember it, right? Because of the word craft, that's the actual acronym. So C stands for cutting the fluff. You have to edit, get rid of the fluff. These tools, AI writing tools, are notorious for fluff. It is kind of terrible how much fluff they write, but hey, you know what? That was the human writer too. So I'd rather have fluff generated in, 5 to 10 minutes, right? Instead of hours and hours. So that's why this shift into using AI as your baseline and then optimizing it is so much better. Just the time and money savings, it's insane. So the next step, you really want to review it and optimize it. So this is where keywords come into play. You want to optimize the SEO keywords that are in the content, make sure that all the keywords are there and they're used accurately. And next, that A piece, you're adding images, visuals, and media, like GIFs, if that's something you want to put in your content. That's something we do at Content Hacker. And then F for fact checking your content. Something that we're seeing in a lot of these tools is they're not always producing the right facts. And again, that makes me think back to the human only process too, right? Like we still need to fact check that writer's work. We still need to make sure the facts are accurate. So if you're talking about new technology, things like that, right? Those kinds of things, the tools don't always know. Like for example, if I had Jasper, if I had Content at Scale, if I had any one of these tools write a blog on AI detection, well, that's such a new topic. They might not have the right facts. They might describe it like a home surveillance tool or something. So the fact checking goes deeper according to how new the topic is or how unique the topic is. And then lastly, trust building is such an important piece of this. And you can do that with story. You can do that with the tone in the content and the links that you have, both external and internal, right? So we want to link internally to different pieces of content, and then we want to link externally. So that's the framework to taking your content from AI, making it better. And I can tell you, if you apply this, whenever you take that content and you run it through either the classifier or one of the other tools I'm going to show you, then it's always going to come back as unlikely AI. You will pass that scan. So let me go through the other tools. Originality.AI. You might be using this. I'd love to know if you are. It's really simple to scan content. With this tool, you just take it, literally click content scan and run it through. So if I take something written by ChatGPT, going to go back to this lackluster 500-word blog written by ChatGPT. I paste it in here. I hit scan now. It's going to cost me, right? So this is not a free tool. It rates as 100% AI. So yeah, that's accurate. So if I go to GPTZero, this is another tool. This one's completely free. If I put the content in here, I am limited. So I can only scan, the first, I would say 500 words or so if I'm scanning a longer piece of content. So I just drop it in there, hit get results. And I ran the scan earlier, like 20 minutes ago. So I'm just going to leave it here. So this was what it gave me. Your text may include parts written by AI. And let's see, is this the one written by Jasper or is this the one written by ChatGPT? Oh, this is the one by Jasper. Okay, interesting. So remember, how in the OpenAI classifier, it told us that this was unlikely to be written by AI. But then we have GPTZero saying the complete opposite, right? And that's where you have to think about the tool you're using. And I might not recommend the OpenAI classifier, which is the free open source one that's kind of right now in beta testing, right, by OpenAI. So it told us that Jasper's content is unlikely to be AI generated. But then we have GPTZero saying, oh, yes, this is by AI, and here you go. Here's all the instances of, oh, a robot wrote this, a robot wrote this, right? So they're highlighting, oh my gosh, like all of it. And then they're scoring it. So if you scroll down, you'll actually see something called the perplexity score, something called the burstiness score. Do not ask me what those means. I do not know. But, it's how it works. It's how it tells us, hey, this is written by the robots. So that's not good, right? All these sentences are highlighted. Like, this needs a ton of work to pass AI detection. And again, that was Jasper's one-shot blog post, which is a new feature that I just took for a test run today. So if we take consonant scales, I'm really curious to see. Let's put this to the test and see what GPTZero says. And I'm curious if you are using any of these tools in your process. And I'll show you the last one here in a second. So we went through Originality.AI. We went through OpenAI's Text Classifier. Now GPTZero. Let's see what it says about consonant scale. So it says it may include parts written by AI, right? We have a maybe there, and it's not pasting. I can't scan the whole thing because of how limited this tool is. So we saw wildly different results. And that's something you got to keep in mind, right? All this technology is still emerging. So you might have something that was written by a writer and it says, this is AI. You might have something that was written by AI and it says, oh, this is unlikely. So it's hard to get an actual answer. And then I'm going to go through ours at consonant scale and let's test it and see what happens. So ours is a little different. It's free, but you can paste in more content than the other tools. So it's 25,000 characters instead of 5,000 characters, GPTZero. And I really encourage you, take all these tools for a spin. Don't just go with one, like really give them a test run. So this one rates ChatGPT as highly likely to be human. But if you look at the content results and specifically what it's pulling out, there's a high probability score, or I should say a low probability score of human. And it's finding the same sentences, right, that GPTZero found. So this one actually gives us 3 specific drill down scores. So instead of just one overall, we can actually see 3 things: the predictability, the probability, and the pattern. And then if we hover, we can see exactly what we need to fix. So that's what I like about this. Those are the different features that you get here. So you can hover, this is something you could have your writer use. I have my writer uses, let's hover, let's see what it says, and let's fix that and reword it. And then over here, it's highlighted, but it's like, how do I fix that? And then Originality.AI doesn't really give us results outside of the actual score. So interesting to see how different all this technology is whenever we take content and we run it through. But the reason why you want your content to rate as human as possible is because, like, first of all, going back to that first thing I found, right? Like, it was amazing to me to find out that a lot of content written by human writers that are either new, right? They're at the beginning of their career, they're still learning this, or they struggle with English. It's not their first language. So writers in those categories, which, if you've ever posted a writing job, like, you've probably been hit up. 80% of the applicants, maybe 90, maybe 95 are in those 2 categories. So the thing they struggle with is the same problem that a lot of the AI writers have, which is robotic writing. So it's a call to arms, right? That we have to learn the skill of writing and we have to be good at it. Our writers have to be good at it.